Everyone thinks that fundraising solves problems. It just creates more problems. I always like to joke about the idea of the anticipation of the money is more exciting than the money itself. Like you actually feel more excited when you're waiting for the money to come to the bank when the deal got closed. And when it actually happens, you don't feel anything. You're just like, oh man, more work, more responsibility.
Welcome to the Inside the Round podcast, where you get to learn about capital raising from founders who have just done it. I'm Helena Fogarty. I'm a fundraising expert who helps startups raise their seed and Series A rounds. And today I'm speaking with James Zahn of Ranger AI. Ranger AI is revolutionizing how high-tech manufacturers handle one of their most complex and time-consuming processes, industrial tendering. Ranger AI has recently raised a $2.5 million seed round. The company is tackling a massive pain point in manufacturing, the months-long process of responding to complex industrial tenders that can involve multi-million-dollar deals. With their AI-powered platform, they're slashing tender response time from months to days, helping manufacturers win more business while freeing up their teams to focus on higher value activities. So let's figure out how they did it. James, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I would love to talk about how you started Ranger AI and what came before it.
Yeah, actually, this is my second rodeo at solving the same problem. I had a background in chemical engineering. The very first job I worked on was an application engineer to do these type of extremely labor-intensive bidding process and tendering process. Spending all night reading tech spec sheets, trying to memorize, the thickness of the chassis, the number of ball valves, butterfly valves, because in the morning when your engineer asks you those questions, you got to remember, you got to know. And I thought there's got to be a better way, because I am not going to be spending the rest of my life just swimming between these tech spec sheets and trying to figure out and memorize these things, because ultimately I want to be a professional engineer myself. So that led me to start my first startup called Engineade, which is using a recommendation engine and past project to help serve as a starting point for future bidding projects. And that's really where it all started. Unfortunately, back then, there was no generative AI. The technology wasn't the way it is. And more importantly, the entire tech adoption for industrial companies was pretty slow. Fast forward to today, not everyone have a chance to do their startup twice. But at Ranger, I was very fortunate to do so. So we're solving the same problem now with a brand new set of ideas and approach.
But in between the two tries,
right,
you've had some stuff going on.
That's
so talk
correct.
to me about that.
So after Engineade, I really wanted to figure out the two core areas I want to solve. One was how to effectively do outbound prospecting, how to get customers and how to go about the sales process. The second part is how do I continue working in an industry where I can learn how to do deployment for large enterprises. So in between, I had a chance to work for some big name companies like Infor, and I was very fortunate to be brought on as a third co-founder for Copilot AI, which is an agentic system to help automate lead generation. That was a wonderful experience. I had two of my favorite people, Henry and Jesse. One was actually my business analyst at my first job. The second guy I played intramural soccer with. And that journey taught me so much just about how to build a startup, and some of the wonderful experience that I got was through that.
Cool. Did you always know that you were going to be an entrepreneur?
My very first company was a summer night market stand.
Okay.
So after graduating high school, you had that summer between going to university. My friend and I, we decided to do a nightstand because, it's cool to build a business.
Yeah, it is.
And his dad owned a restaurant. So we're repackaging what the restaurant's selling into a product, in this case, very hot, spicy noodle, along with ice cold Jones soda to go with it. And we hired our girlfriends to work with us. That was my first time. And, while everyone is like traveling or playing video games or just, hanging out, I think it was the toughest summer I had. There was so much responsibility, opening the store, closing it, operating throughout the journey. And that was the moment I think I really thought, okay, everyone said about building a business. It's one thing to want a business, another thing to build one.
Yeah.
And I could do this. That was the moment.
And it was fun?
it was fun now looking back at it, but while I was there,
Yeah.
it was brutal. I thought to myself, like, because, you have friends telling you, hey, I'm in Hawaii, I'm traveling to Japan, I'm going to Texas. And then here I am, like, I got to open my store, this tiny night market stand, because traffic's coming. We got to pay the rent, right?
Yeah. Rent never goes away.
Yes.
So when you raised for Ranger,
hmm
I think you've raised before, right? Or you've been around that before.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So the first set of investment, funny enough, we got was in the restaurant for the nightstand.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it was pretty funny. We, I think the whole summer, the stand cost about $80,000.
Uh-huh.
So to make sure buffer, we raised about $100K
Wow.
to do this.
Yeah, it's a serious business.
It's serious business.
I didn't think you were talking about that scale.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
serious.
Yeah, like every
Yeah.
night, our earnings were like about $1,000.
Uh-huh.
So it's pretty decent revenue,
Yeah.
for just 4 hours of operation.
Yeah.
That's when I had to go through the whole pitch deck, business case, and whatnot. And at Engineade, that's when I got exposed to, angels, how to actually get angels, how to get individuals you worked before and get them involved with the company as advisor/angels.
Yeah.
At Copilot, I had my first experience in raising from the government. And at Ranger, it's a really good opportunity to seeing something at a much more institutional level.
Yeah. So when you're talking about angels, and I think you said advisors who also invest, like, tell me a little bit more about that. How do you make that happen?
The way I see it, there's a saying that my old mentor used to tell me: on your way up, don't forget to be gracious and courteous, because on the way down, they're still there.
Yeah.
The reality is at early stage companies, they're not really investing for the growth or the revenue. They're investing for you, the founding team and the founder. So the way I always think about this is, if my kids come to me wanting to open up a lemonade stand and they have a great thesis, they tell me the exact location, there's a construction happening, lots of construction workers here. We're going to make this amazing lemonade. We're going to put, Gatorade in there to hydrate them and all of that. If it's compelling enough, I want to bet on them to give them a shot because I like them. So this likability, this ability to really connect with these advisors or future angels is the key. I think a lot of founders are very focused on the money side of raising, not enough on the relationship side of raising.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I have an investor right now that I'm very close with at Ranger, who I knew back at Copilot AI.
Yeah.
They passed on us back then, but now he is very interested in what I'm doing at Ranger. And that's the thing. If you don't take a rejection well and you don't keep that connections, one door closes, maybe another door open. So the advice I always have is, it's a people game in the end. You want to be able to really connect with the person.
Yeah.
And if they believe in you, I'm sure you'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah. I mean, it's been said before, because I just taped an episode right before that, but like, relationships are incredibly important.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've just been kind of clueless before this, but it just seems like they're getting more and more important as more automation and more AI gets filtered into things and people can act like they know a lot about people.
Correct.
Actually knowing people
Yes.
is an incredible hack. And being in touch with the people that you like. This doesn't mean you have to be courting people you don't like or appreciate or respect. It's really about, there's enough people that you are going to be aligned with, but finding those people and developing those relationships. And it sounds like you're excellent at that.
I am not afraid of rejection.
Okay.
I think that's, call it a superpower. I like to think that's a superpower. Like, I'm the type that can call someone just out of the blue. If they don't pick up, whatever, I would record a video message and send it to them on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I text them. If they don't text back, that's okay. I'll text them again.
Yeah.
I got a funny story about this, actually.
Yes, please.
One of my founding engineer at Ranger, I used to work with him at a public traded company called Mogo, almost 10 years ago. I really liked him. After he left the company, I was at Infor. I send him a text message, be like, hey, are you looking for a job? We're hiring an engineer right now. I'd love to see if we can work with you again. No reply.
Yeah.
And then I went to Copilot AI.
Yeah.
We're hiring a lead engineer. I message him again. I'm like, hey, I'm here now. I'd love to have a chance to work with you. Are you interested? No message. And then last year, at Ranger, I saw on LinkedIn he was unfortunately part of a layoff. So I sent him another message. I'm like, hey, I'm at Ranger now. Would you be down to have a conversation? And he finally got back to me.
Yeah.
And now, he's with me. He's a big part of the team. And we always joke about, like, you pull up our messaging history. There was a gap, 2 years, 2 years, and 2 years in each of these messages, right? And in between, I would send him like memes or random things.
Yeah.
Because I know he always liked me, right?
Yeah.
But life getting in the way, you don't meant for it to happen. Sometimes you just don't reply. It's not always malicious.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. And even if they reject me, that's okay. Because I'm sure one day something's gonna happen. I'll be of use for that person.
Was he responding to the memes?
No.
Or was he just sleeping?
No, he was, it was nothing.
That's amazing.
It was nothing.
So when you feel like you're good with rejection, a lot of times when I'm coaching founders, I'm like, listen, let's just make the amount of your work so large that you're not going to worry about that one person who doesn't respond. Because if you reach out to 20 and 2 respond, you're going to feel okay. Right? But if you reach out to 1 and they don't respond, you're going to feel terrible.
Yeah.
Are you just okay with reaching out to 1 and having them not respond, or do you like play a numbers game?
So when it comes to VC, this is what I learned. Reputation is very important, but who you know also matters.
Yeah.
Most of the VCs that I get introduced to are through other VCs. You have a VC that say, hey, you're too early for us. That could be means I don't want to invest in you. It could be all kinds of reasons, right?
Yeah.
But if they like you, at their next deal review with some other VCs, you might come up and you get an intro.
Yeah.
I certainly had a lot through this. And, there is a VC that introduced to it at Copilot called Cita Capital, Jim Mao. One of the first VC out of Sand Hill I had a conversation with. Not only has he invested in the company, but provide a lot of mentorship, a lot of coaching, just a lot of ways for me to think about
A lot of value.
how to be a person in this environment, right? When you're taking a large amount of capital, how do you be responsible for it? And how do you make sure that the things you do reflect that aspect of it? So the rejection side for me is just, it's not a no, just not yet.
Okay. Yeah, good framework. Framing. I like that. So, did you feel like you've just been developing your network for investors along your entire journey? Or has there been particular times when you've been like, I've got to work on my network?
So I have a really interesting approach for this. It's more for the millennials and the Gen Zs out there.
Yeah.
I approach it in like a Pokemon style, where whether it's a developer, a co-founder, a good accountant, I try to catch them as a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Which means that I really want to learn a lot about them, build that connections, and just want them to be a part of my network. Because you never know when you need them.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, my private physician, his wife was my high school classmate. My dentist was my high school classmate. My co-founder at Ranger, Sadi, we knew each other since college.
Yeah.
My chief technologist, we knew each other since we were 10 years old. And there are so many individuals that are extraordinary in life.
Yeah.
But maybe at the time, they are still trying to figure out their ways, just like me.
Yeah.
But if you give them the attention and the relationship and continue to cultivate it, you never know where they'll end up. You never know where you need them. So that's the way I approach it. And I don't just get them and then don't nurture and just go to them and be like, I need stuff, right? It's this, I like to nurture more than I take out.
Yeah.
And for me, I actually like to see others succeed. right? The way is that if you are, you're the average of the 5 people you're close with, right? They're all successful. Then, good chance that you're okay too.
Yeah. Is that something that you feel like you have developed because of input, or is that something that was inherent in how maybe you were raised? Or is that, I'm trying to help the founders that are out there because some people are not natural networkers
Yeah.
and some people are, right? So can you, I don't know if you can, but can you point us to a moment when you realized that relationships were just incredibly important?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's an upbringing thing. So both my parents were professors
Yeah.
and they had to move around a lot growing up. I think I moved school 5, 6 times. And every time I go to a new school, I have to build new relationship, new friends. But I want to keep in touch with my old friends.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that really helped me to do this. That would be the first thing. It's not a necessity of survival in the, let's call it the middle school and the high school dynamics.
Yeah.
But the second thing was, like my parents were really busy. And so it would be like I spent a lot of time with my mom alone or my dad alone or by myself.
Yeah.
And my parents were really clear to me about, you got to go make some friends. I'm a single child too.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. I don't have siblings.
Yeah.
And I can't just play with them. Right. So that they used to like drop me off at my friend's house. They hear I have a sleepover. They're so happy. They're like, they pack my computer, pack everything and just put it in the car and just like so excited to put me away. And that really helped too. But I do think, I had quite a few friends and mentees in my career in which they were not natural networkers, but the moment they started doing it, they start to, I forgot who said that thing. People don't think about you that often.
Yeah.
Just give it out the energy, try to create relationships and not worry too much about what they think of you.
Yeah.
They all started becoming really good at it. And I think that's the key because most people are very passive with their relationship.
Yeah.
And you don't have a lot of proactive individuals.
Yeah.
I have an incredible individual actually in my network. His name is Johnny Chen. He works for Raymond James as a big investment banker. This guy knows about 500 contacts. Everything about them, their kids, wife, where they worked at, in his head.
Yeah.
And he's like, I really worked on it. I just like forced myself, wrote it down, like old private equity style, memorized it.
Yeah.
And at first I thought it was work. Then I realized how impactful that is for me just to care about someone that much. And things
That's
like
beautiful. I mean, I know that once I was working at an advertising agency many years ago, like I learned how to be a better family member because at that point my grandfather was still alive and I had to talk to my client a couple times a week. And I was like, I should just be talking to my grandfather at least once a week.
Yeah.
So instead of like complaining about him being unhappy because I wasn't reaching out, all of a sudden I could be more proactive and actually have a relationship with my grandfather that was a positive one.
Yep.
And so it's like, there's been parts of my life where I'm just like, head down, working or just focused on my own stuff, being passive about relationships, but I'm becoming more and more active about it because it really is personally rewarding, not in a monetary way. Like it's just much nicer, much richer way of being.
I still call my parents once a day.
That's amazing.
Sounds pretty weird, but like, this is the funny part. I will call them, like not my parents. I'll call my friends.
Yeah.
When I'm commuting, I'm driving, or I'm just like bored.
Yeah.
And now they are so used to me calling.
Yeah.
Probably just want to say hi.
Yeah.
That they do pick up, or they're like, text like, yo, I got you a missed call. I'll hit you right back, right? It could just be like a 2 minutes conversation. What's up? But like, it also kind of built that habit with your friends.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
I had a friend. He went on a golf trip. I called him, and he didn't pick up.
Yeah.
The next day, like as if he knew what I was going to ask him, he wrote down his review for the golf courses, how he ranked, and sent me like a mini essay to me,
Yeah.
And I think that's I was very happy about that because it's like, okay, great. That's kind of the relationship we continue to foster.
Yeah. And I think that, more and more people are afraid of calling.
Yes.
Or they know that their friends aren't going to call up or call back or pick up. And sometimes, if I call and someone doesn't pick up, I'm like, nothing urgent.
Yeah.
No one's dying. Everything's fine. Just calling to say hello. It's because people aren't expected, but it's so great.
Yeah.
Literally, if you can make the time to do that. So between Copilot and starting Ranger, you were EIR,
Correct.
right? Tell me about that. How did that happen?
Yeah. So 25 Madison, as you know, here in New York, they're an incubator and an investor. So they were exploring a thesis around this industrial space, that a supply chain studio. And I was very fortunate to be connected to their former head of studio, Bobby. And we hit it off after the first call. Basically, he was really thinking about this tendering space. I told him that was my first startup.
Yeah.
I flew out to New York and then met some of the design partners that we're chatting with and really validated the problem. So this EIR process, I think is really important. It's not meant for like a accelerator or incubator. It's not meant for everyone, but the core area expertise that they train you on, I think it's applicable for every founders in the early stage.
Yeah.
So first is be obsessed with the problem, really know how to validate it. I think too often we pick up a problem and we try to fit a solution to it, or we have a passion about a solution.
Yeah.
We're trying to find a problem to solve.
Yeah.
But here, because they have a lot of private equity they're associated with, it was great for me just to meet with these companies, these potential customers, and just hear all of their problems. So that helped me build the thesis. I think that's kind of the power that I needed. If you're just on my own, right, I'm not going to go to a large industrial company and be like, tell me about your tendering process. Thinking about who is this
Would
guy?
you get an audience? Yeah, right. Like, would you get in?
Yeah, I wouldn't even be able to get in.
Right.
But with 25 Madison, they make the intro,
Yep.
and here we are on the call, right, doing research. So that power is something that I really don't think without it I could have built Ranger. That's the first thing. The second thing is the idea of having your accounting team, your legal team, and a lot of support.
Yeah.
Their own VC arm.
It's amazing.
Jaja, who's fantastic. She has a huge network. Steven, the CEO, like they introduce you to all kinds of advisors, people that you can talk to, and you take those introductions and you run with it.
Yeah.
So if you're good at creating relationships, uncovering problems, and continue to nurture it, sooner or later, at least for me, I start to hone in on this area. And I think the most important part of the EIR experience is the importance of design partners. I'll be honest, earlier in my career, I had design partners, but I just think of them as early customers.
Yeah.
And now I realize true design partners are investors. They're investing their time, their energy, their resources to help your startup.
Yeah.
They could build this in-house and do all kinds of stuff in the world. So they're not really a customer,
Yeah.
right? They're here in every part of your journey. So one of our first design partner was a company called Flow America or Celeros. And we had some incredible leaders as their head of commercial, like Mohammed Taleb, their CIO, Julio. They were forefront in wanting to make AI transformation in the manufacturing space. And not only did they help me validate the problem, but they had a vision of how the operation should be when empowered by AI.
Yeah.
And that it really helps me
Yeah.
in thinking about not just the vision for the company, but what are the practical problems that the application engineer, that the legal person, that the procurement person are faced with on a day-to-day basis. So those are some of the core things I really got out this EIR experience. And I think you don't need a accelerator or an incubator to do those things, but it certainly makes it easier.
Yeah. And so does 25 Madison then get on your cap table? Are they key investor?
Yes, they're one of our first investor to join us.
Amazing. So we talked about you being a co-pilot. I'd like to talk about the money that you helped raise while you were there. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. It was really interesting because that I was able to actually raise about $5 million in non-dilutive round from the government of Canada.
That's amazing.
At the time, the government was going through a huge investment in the AI space. And Copilot AI focused on using agentic AI for sales automation. And it was a lot on business development, and it helps small business, medium-sized business, or enterprise grow. So that was going through a RFP and an investment pitch to the government for their investment thesis. And I think, just to be really candid, the Canadian government's investment due diligence process is tougher than anything I've gone through.
Yeah.
Not only do they require like quarterly financials, all your projections, all your headcounts, security check on everything, your pitch deck, lots of different committees. But the final sign off was actually from the Minister of Finance himself.
Wow.
And I had to go meet him in person, got a photo op. It was great. But, and it really made me understand that, okay, like, to do this, when you're taking this much money, whether it's from a private equity or a government or a VC, the amount of liability, responsibility, and expectation that you have is nothing to be shying away from. You have to embrace it and understand that they believe in you, they believe in the business, they believe in the team and the vision. That's why they're here.
Yeah.
So that was honestly like quite the experience. And to be honest, I was very fortunate. It took a year.
Yeah.
It's a long time to get.
Yeah, I'm amazed it only took a year. Like, that sounds like it might take longer. And before that, had Copilot raised significant capital?
Yes. This is actually a really funny story. So the original two founders, and the story always makes me understand the importance of working with the right people. So their first investor, they were in an incubator as well. And they were validating so many ideas, right? The goal is to start a startup. They were first in, last out, every day in, day out. And they were so committed to this. The VC out of that incubator wrote them $1 million check. And it's like, we're betting on the people.
Yeah.
If someone's going to make it, it'll be these two. That's how they got their first check.
Amazing.
And, obviously I helped them raise from, VCs in Silicon Valley and whatnot. That was much more standard process of using the number, using the traction, using the story and the growth but the early stage, that first check, that's incredible. Like, everyone has so many different ways to get it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I know you've raised much more at this point, but $1 million is nothing to sneeze at. Makes a big difference. And then
makes a big difference.
The $5 million in non-dilutive capital is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge.
Yeah. I mean, I think, to be completely frank, like, when people think capital raising, they think one person go there and get money. It's a team effort. Like, everyone had to be aligned. There's so many artifacts that you need to produce.
Yeah.
With your controller, with your marketing team, with your finance team, pull the data. Even though you're the one that's doing the pitch, in the end, behind you is a team effort.
Yeah.
And even at early stage, when you are, trying to get your first angel check, or get your pre-seed round, or get your first safe or your seed round lead, what people don't see behind this, we just raised a $5 million seed round at 25 is they put probably a year or longer.
Yeah.
I had a good friend of mine who just did a seed round at 25. It's funny how he tells me so many individuals was just like, oh, that was easy, He's like, I worked so hard on it. I spent so much time behind the scene.
Yeah.
Right. Try to get this going.
Yeah.
And a lot of relationship building, a lot of failure, and a lot of rejections.
Lots of rejection in service of getting the yes. But also, even if you're the one creating all these artifacts and pitching, you need someone else to help move the company forward. You need to delegate some of that work, because you've got to be focused on fundraising.
Correct. And here's the part that I have a controversial, people say like fundraising is really time consuming.
Yeah.
It's extremely time consuming. But if I were to prioritize for early founders, at least based on my experience on the people that, I support and help, too many early founders spend too much time fundraising. Like, I often ask them this question, why do you need the money?
Yeah.
And a lot of them give me this use of proceeds because they're hiring engineers, they're doing all this stuff. I get it. You raise money to spend it. But you're also selling your company for it,
Yeah.
right? If you look at the other side from the VC perspective, you are an investment thesis, you're like supposed to return their fund. That's one aspect of it. Another way to look at it is that you are a product. You're a product that they're selling to their LPs. They're using you and package you together to raise more for their next round. So once you understand that aspect of it, then the question for you is kind of, why do you need investment when you can find great design partners who can invest in you? Like I often like to think, if you can get 3 design partners who believes in you, who works with you on this prior to your first check or even angel check, and you can just bootstrap that part, that gives you the peace of mind that you're building a real business.
Yeah.
You're not just stringing together some ideas and hoping to get money, because once you blow that money, you know, there's a lot of consequences.
Yeah, a lot. But you're saying this after raising $2.5 million. So how do you answer those questions?
Well, I mean, I think first you raise for a set of outcomes. Or in my case, you know, I had a very clear set of outcomes. I want to grow the company, convert these design partners, and get more leads, which we're actively doing. The second thing is that you raise for what you need to hit those outcomes so you can raise again. Or if you're really good, you hit the gold mine, then, you know, you're 100x, 1000x, you don't need to raise again. But the way I always think about this is different industry needs different amount of money. If we're in an industrial space, which moves very slow, there's a lot of investment need to be put in ahead of time. And it's very costly to essentially ask these large manufacturers to switch their process to use your tool. So you want to have enough runway and you want to be there when they make the change. And if I were an industrial company and I don't see this company have enough of a runway or a war chest, I don't want to work with them because they might just go belly up tomorrow.
100%. Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why, you know, we are very strategic about how much we raise.
Yeah.
And often I imagine, like, at least just might be my own view, a lot of people are mistaken how much they raise to success. I don't necessarily believe that's true, but there's plenty of great companies that didn't raise that many rounds or that much money, but they're very successful. And I think try to beat that comes from customers, tractions, and talents.
Yeah. I mean, I talk about this often, right? You know, it's great to raise money from investors. Revenue is even better.
Correct.
And with revenue, there's optionality.
Yes.
And potentially more ownership. Like there's just, revenue solves so many things that taking on investors doesn't necessarily solve.
Yeah, I mean, here in New York, you got a lot of food trucks around here, right?
It's amazing.
If you ask these food truck, what do they prefer? Someone comes in and say, here, take 100K, let me own 20%.
Yeah.
Or do they want every day just lines and lines of customers?
Yeah.
They will tell you, I'll take the lines and lines of customers.
I mean, you know, when I started my company, I was like, oh, this isn't a lifestyle business. I'm taking investment, blah, blah. But now I look at your cash businesses and I'm like, wow, like that's hard.
Yeah.
And also that's 100% ownership.
Yep.
You know, the dry cleaner, the, like, whatever you're looking at, people who don't have the ability or they don't want to raise money.
Yes.
But yet they made these companies work.
Yep. You have the old brick and mortar.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that there's a negative connotation of that.
Yes.
But it's still a great business and can be life changing. Just different type of business.
For sure.
Yeah. Amazing. So what was the biggest surprise in raising money, raising capital this time?
I think, first of all, it's a great question. I think no fundraising cycle is the same. There's always surprises. This time, really, for me, was how fortunate I was.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it's a little different when you're in EIR. Right?
Yeah. Not only did I get the support from 25 Madison and Panache, which is a top tier VC out in Canada, There were two GPs, one called Northside, Alex McIsaac, and Mark Trevitt from Defined. These are like smaller funds. Traditionally, you know, large institution is nice, but for me, I wanted investors who actually understood industrial tendering, who understand the market they're getting in. Mark used to be a chemical engineer. He went through the pitch, saw the product. He's like, wow, this reminded me so much of why I'm a VC now.
Yeah.
Right? And wrote me the check the next week.
Amazing. That's so quick.
Yeah, it's so quick.
That's insane.
And Alex has been exploring this space for a while. And when he saw what we were doing and he validated with, you know, on his side, he was also one of the first check that came in with 25 Madison.
Yeah.
And I start to see, even at the VC side, like if you think they themselves are like a mini startup and the product is you and they use the money they raise to purchase you, then the whole package about how they go about their business is actually very relatable.
Yeah.
So understanding which partner or principal GPs are working on which thesis really matters.
Yeah.
I think that was something that before, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think too much about. I thought all the VC here is looking for deals, they're looking for numbers, looking for something. This time around, especially in the industrial space, many VCs have their particular set of thesis that they're working towards.
Yeah.
And figure out a way to get in front of them when it aligns. It's quite magical.
Yeah. And so can you tell me a little bit more about your process? I mean, you were supported by 25 Madison, but did you come up with a list of people you wanted to talk to? How did you reach those people? Warm introductions? Like, let's get a little bit into the kind of nuts and bolts of it.
I actually didn't do any of that this time.
Amazing. So yeah, I want to hear this.
Yeah. So I used to do that. Like at Copilot AI, we certainly did that.
Yeah.
You know, we outreach to many VCs and got a lot of calls. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
Using our own tool to do outbound prospecting, very successful. But this time around, I was really focused on the product and the customer and just really help our design partners. And to be honest, I was very obsessed with figuring out how do we help them? How do we support them? So many of these VC introductions were done through inbound. So here's a couple like good way to do inbound. First is, you know, when you create your company, just put it under stealth.
Yeah.
You know, on LinkedIn, there's the stealth company.
Yeah.
Plenty of VCs have automation tool or have things that specifically look for new stealth companies to reach out to. So that's a great way to introduce inbound.
Yeah.
The second way, as I mentioned, you build a few relationships with good VCs. They might be a stage ahead of you. They might be like, they only invest in A or growth.
Yeah.
But so you know they're not a fit. But if they like you, they have a network of VCs who are early stage that they can introduce you to. And Panache, for example, I was connected because one of their investors reached out. They have a lot of LPs in this oil and gas and energy business, and they're very, very famous in this area. So meeting with them, I wouldn't call it a breeze, but it was a fantastic experience because they were thinking about this area for a while. So when you understand their thesis aligning with your company and your company is solving a real problem because you're spending so much time on the customer side of things, you know, most of the time, good things can happen.
Yeah.
But if you are, I certainly have met a lot of founders who really focus on building the brand for investment. They have raised just off a deck or with nothing, with no product. But I have never met a single founders who raised a lot of money without a single design partner or without anything. Because how else are you going to validate traction?
Yeah.
Right. Especially this day and age. In 2021, 22, yeah, that's a different
time.
A different time.
So how long did your raise take? approximately?
So a couple months. I say 2 to 3 months.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. Just really try to compress the timeline, meet with the right type of VC. And, sometimes, like I mentioned, when the VC rejects you or say, hey, you're not the right fit, or I had quite a few VCs that came, was very interested, did the pitch, and then told me, James, like, I like what you're doing. I get it. I think I get it. But I don't know anything about this industry.
Yeah.
Right. And that's okay. Like, it happens, right? It's going back to the thesis matters. So you really want to pick out those people who are interested in you, then just try to play a numbers game and talk to as many as possible in a short period of time, because sometimes they talk. Like, if I'm a VC, I'm talking to you about my deal, and I say, I pass on this. You're like, why did you pass? And then maybe that one reason now becomes the bias reason.
Yeah.
I think in the early stage, especially like when you're in the pre-seed and the seed round, it is much better to be strategic with the investor you want to work with, rather than just raise the money for the heck of it.
Okay. And was there a point where things got much easier in your raise? Like, was there any point where you felt friction and then the friction went away?
I think there's friction. I mean, to this day, like, I think that this idea of how much runway do we keep? When should we raise the next round? What's the milestone we're gonna how do you continue to nurture these VCs? There's still areas you have to invest in. I would say the biggest challenge, not a challenge, but because I've gone through a few, investment myself. I like to think I have a really robust data room for a pre-seed round, for a seed round. Which means everything from the financials to the strategy doc to the contracts, incorporation documents, cap tables, thesis in this area. We even have like a white paper on basically this industry. We're very fortunate to have some of the design partners willing to speak to the investor as well.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Demos that they have done. So I had all that together. And when the VC mentioned, hey, like, I'm very interested in this, can we look further? I sent them the document with all of these links for a very robust data room. And I think that has gone a long way for them to understand, okay, they know what they're doing. They're not messing around here. So that certainly added a lot of confidence. I always suggest, for any founders out there who want to do an early stage round, think about, you need these things for your own business.
Yeah, you do.
Right? So if you don't have them, you try to raise, then I think you might be getting a little bit ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
And documenting everything is the key.
And I think that, when you're talking with serious investors, they are probably going to reach out to your customers that you don't give as references.
Yeah. Or your past investors, or back channeling everything. Yeah, certainly.
Because they're trying to de-risk it. Yeah. Were there any tough conversations while you're raising?
Yes. I think valuation is always a tough conversation.
Yeah.
How much you raise is also a very tough conversation. And I think the key is why you want to take money from someone.
Yeah.
We chose to take multiple safes from a set of different investors than one, for a simple reason of when they invest money in you, here's what I realized. Maybe it's not true, but certainly from my experience, it holds a certain weight. Doesn't matter how much money they invest in you, they work just as hard. Like, unless you are a write-off for them, right? They could invest $200K, $1 million, $2 million. They work just as hard for you. So you really want a reason why they're on your cap table, and you want to be able to identify those reasons so you can hold them accountable too. Whether they're here to help you with the next raise, they're here to introduce you to your first handful of customers. They're here to strategize with you on the pitch, whatever that is. You have to know why you want them at your cap table.
Yeah.
And taking safe from investors is a good way for you to have a blend of different discipline. Ideally, if you can get a design partner out of every investor,
Yeah.
then that's a very good way to build your business.
And how do you designate where you think they're going to help you? Because I know that I've seen the rounds. I was working with one client, and one of the investors from their bridge round then introduced them to their lead and their Series A, and there are other ones that focus on the customer end of it.
Mhm.
Are you able to identify those strategic investors that will help with, the next round or with customers or, eventual exit?
Yeah, the way I approach it is I just ask them,
Yeah.
right? In the conversation, like, when you meet a VC, I have, you want to know essentially like what their focus are, what their thesis are, where about in the deployment stage on their fund, how big is their fund,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. But also what value proposition they bring to their portfolio companies.
Yeah.
A lot of them saying, oh, we do a lot of hiring. That's not a big need for us at the moment, but maybe at the next stage, right? Some of them say, hey, we have a lot of LPs that I think could use your tool. Great. That's a huge thumb up. Then these ones that even if they reject me, I'll still continue to nurture them and really like trying to get to know them, because if our product works, we put it in front of their LPs, we put it in front of their corporate partners, they become our customer. Even if they don't invest in us, that's value.
Yeah.
So yeah, I asked them straight up in the calls about like, what are the value proposition you bring to your portfolio?
Nice. I love that. I was going to say, how do you exactly phrase that? Like, what are you bringing to the table other than money?
Yeah, just the value proposition, right? Like,
yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
How did you choose your lead investors?
So I didn't really have a lead, so it was just all safe.
Yeah.
But having done this in the past, I think a lead investor really matters, because ideally at early stage, you want a lead that can help you with your next round.
Right.
And you also want a lead that doesn't abandon you when things go tough.
Right.
I think that's everyone hopes your business will be successful, whether 9 out of 10 fails.
Yeah.
Right. So the odds are stacked against you. And the lead investor, you want them to be there in, like, it's almost like a marriage, right? If you think about, take a bad example, but like imagine taking a safe is getting engaged, or you're like dating officially. Getting them lead on the board, that's a marriage. And they're with you for a really long time.
Yeah.
And you want them to be with you the whole way through and support you. And I think that's harder to do, but what I have seen a lot of founders, including myself, is that thorough due diligence on the VC.
Say more.
Yes. Unfortunately, I do see a lot of founders, they take a term sheet.
Yeah.
They're so happy. They're like, like, just sign, right?
Yes.
But if like I noticed, if I have a founder friend who took a term sheet and asked the investor for a set of founders to do DD on, and they can't bring any, that's not a good sign. Or they bring some founders like, oh, we didn't actually work that closely with them.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good thing. So, and also like, if they want to be, like, a lot of founders early stage feel like, oh, I don't want to give up my board seat, right? But if you're raising from like a very reputable investor, and they want to be on your board, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That means they care about this investment.
They care.
They want to help you, right? 25 Madison was on my board.
Yeah.
And, like, they supported me a ton, more than what I could hope for, to be honest.
That's great. That's a really good reference for them. No, it is. What advice do you have for founders who are just getting started on considering whether they're going to fundraise or not, or how much, what their valuation is going to be?
I mean, do you have design partners or not? Right. The way I think about this is, like, once you have design partners and all your design partners are testing out your prototype, or, especially these days, right, you can use a lot of vibe coding tools, Lovable, to build your first iteration prototype and get feedback. You know if they're willing to pay.
Yeah.
Right. But if you don't have any design partners, and you don't have anyone that's willing to use your tool, and this space, you're not sure how big it is or how many people you can get, I don't know if fundraising is the best way. And I think this is a really interesting that I'm sensing is a lot of founders that I have met. There's a lot of entrepreneurs who want to be entrepreneurs. Who believes you go and you pitch a wonderful solution and you're with the investor long enough, you get funded.
Yep. And then you start building.
And you start building. I feel like, I mean, my co-founder, Sadi, he's in the GCC right now, but like he said it best. He's like, if I want to spend time, I want to spend time where the customers are.
Yeah.
Right? Like VCs, they're great, but you need them when you need them.
Yeah.
Customers, you always need them.
Yeah. And you can not have VC money if you have enough customers, like we said.
Yeah. And who to say if you get a customer,
yeah,
they love you, they're your early design partners, their COO or their EVP wouldn't write an angel check and be your advisor.
Yeah. I think any customer development you can do is incredible.
Yes.
Right. You should over-index on that because you're going to learn, you're going to understand the problem better, and you might get partnerships. You're going to get revenue. You might get investors from all of that.
I have a good friend who is running a healthcare company in, I think it was in Nashville, Tennessee, and he actually took the investment from his customers. So not only did they give revenue, they actually, the owners wrote an angel, like multiple of them, wrote angel checks for them. So he's now thinking like, I don't actually need VC money.
Yeah,
my customer is already supporting me.
Right. And sometimes angels are easier to deal with.
For sure.
Sometimes, not always. Yeah. So what has changed since you raised? Like in terms of, is it runway comfort? You've got supportive investors. What's the key thing that you see?
I can tell you the one thing never changed is everyone thinks that fundraising solves problems. It just creates more problems. And I always like to joke about the idea of the anticipation of the money is more exciting than the money itself.
Yeah.
Like you actually feel more excited when you're waiting for the money to come to the bank when the deal got closed.
Yeah.
And when it actually happens, you don't feel anything. You're just like, oh man, more work, more responsibility, more expectation.
I think the more responsibility is what has hit me. It's like you're like excited for a second, and you're like, oh gosh, now more responsibility.
Yes. But another thing in terms of having money in the bank, it's optionality, right? It gives you think about it this way. If you are doing a bootstrap, you always have to build everything yourself. But with capital, you can deploy that capital too, more than just on talent. You can deploy it into investing in your brand, into tools, into things that partnerships that often are overlooked to help you basically validate your solutions or ways to bring value to your customer much faster.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the money is really there for, is the optionality.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have any hot takes on fundraising and valuation or?
What do you want to do? My hot take is that don't maximize valuation if you don't have to.
Yeah.
I had a long conversation with a good buddy of mine last night. It was another founder. He just on what do you want to IPO? Do you want to sell your company?
Yeah.
What is your actual exit strategy?
Yep.
If your goal is to sell your company, then optimizing for valuation is not a good thing because investors are not going to let you sell. If let's say you raise at a $50 million valuation, they're not going to let you sell for 60, right? They probably want at least 100, and that's not a fund return. That's just get their money back.
Yeah. If you do it real quick, that might be okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, when you're seed round, I've seen some seed round is 7 for 35 or then you're okay, you're really going to go all the way. But what does all the way mean? Does that mean you're going to go become a unicorn, which every VC hope for you're going to become? But is that something you want to do?
Yeah.
I have seen more founders who are friends of mine who actually negotiate down the valuation instead up.
Oh.
These are the ones that either trying to ensure that they can get a good next round going.
Yeah.
Or they're optimizing for exit in the future.
Yeah.
And so let's say I get a $20 million valuation, right? I negotiate down to 17.5. But I'll give you more equity. I'll take the money up front. I'll give you more equity, right? Because maybe in their head they want to exit at 50.
Yeah.
Right? So that's my hot take.
No, I love it. That's perfect. That's amazing. So how do you stay mentally, physically, and emotionally healthy while building startups?
Yeah. Your partners really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Who you surround yourself really matter.
Yeah.
Um, I have a wonderful family. My parents, my wife, my kids. My wife also owns a small business.
Mm-hmm.
She owns a brick and mortar dance studio for kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Amazing.
Like hundreds of kids in her studio, and it's
So fun.
it's so different, right?
Yeah.
It's such, and then she deploys AI for everything.
What?
Yeah, she has agents for her content, for billing,
Yeah.
and it's incredible to see how it's changing kind of the operation. Like her business is 7 people in total. Her competitor will have like 30,
Yeah.
right? But everything's automated. So like I think this idea, at least for me, to stay mentally healthy is a lot. My friends now are founders. I have like 3 group of friends. I have my, let's call it high school, middle school, college friends.
Yeah.
I have my hobby friends. I play a lot of sports.
Yeah.
And then my founder friends. Having that group of friends that you can actually talk to about your challenges, your problems, it's very important. And a lot of my founder friends also told me that as they raise bigger and bigger rounds, their friend circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and all of them are founders.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. So get your group.
Yep.
The second thing is I try to play basketball, go to the gym at least 3-4 times a week. That's how I kind of get out of my stress.
Yeah. When things are challenging in your business, which, I know your business is going well, but things always come up, right? Little crises. How do you prioritize if you have the choice to go to the gym or a game, which a game is a timely thing? How do you balance those things?
I mean, I'm going to use one of my partner, Dr. QC's way of saying, like, you're running a marathon, not a sprint.
Yep.
So it's much better just to sacrifice something else just to ensure you can keep the marathon up than it's trying to finish for a sprint.
Yeah.
So like if I'm really, like, my wife knows this, like, hey, I had like a long day of work. I really want to go out and play basketball. I know you had 2 kids the whole day today.
Yeah.
Can you help out? And she's like, yeah, go do your thing.
Yeah.
Right. Like, or like I have a certain deadline I have to meet. And then I would actually go and just get my workout in.
Yeah. Get your head straight.
Yes. And then finish this instead of like being all nervous and worried about, because like I think there's never enough time to do everything you need to do.
Yeah.
Constraints breeds innovation.
Yeah.
It forces you to think differently. And lastly, this is something I tell all the founder friends I have, and I think it's really important. I know many of them do it, so it's not like insane thing, but you have to keep a very clear set of work diaries and mental diaries in ChatGPT.
Okay.
It's incredibly helpful.
Tell me more.
So what I do is for my leadership meeting, my VC meetings or weekly updates, I write them or I use the transcript and I give it to my custom GPT. So you keep track of this. Then if I forget something or I need to write my investor newsletter or I want to give a recap, it can help me remember everything and create those pieces of content that I can refer back to.
That's cool.
So that keeps me really organized. So like investor newsletter, I don't have to go back and figure out how happened this quarter. I feed it every single week and it's going to create the skeleton for what I need to write right off the bat.
Yeah.
On the mental side, this is something that Saudi told me, it's really important. Like every week we do this thing called like what went well for me, not for the business. What got me energized, what made me stressed, and what I'm hoping to get better.
Right.
So just these bullet points, I will continue to have like a running dialogue in ChatGPT. Just every week I put this in, and then we do like quarterly retros where I really reflect on this to see, did I get better, or should I just punt this? That is like a workout diary, right? You know, you go to the gym, you see all these big guys, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm tiny compared to them. But if you look at your diary, like, oh, I started at 10 pounds, now I'm at 50.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, I got stronger,
Yeah.
right? So that kind of rate of change, the measurable change, I think tracking it's incredibly useful, and it's so easy to do. It takes like a minute.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my recommendation. At least helped me a lot.
Yeah, it's great. I really appreciate that. Anything else you want to share?
I would say, just to cap it off, like fundraising, I love what you're doing here, you know, giving insights, because I think outside looking in, it just seems such a daunting thing to do. And I certainly am not an expert, right? I'm trying to figure out things as I go along. I talk to some of my advisors or mentors who are at Series D or F or C, and they're playing a completely different ball game out there, like just completely different. You know, like we're talking about dealing with big time law firms, you know, getting sovereign funds involved, right? But at the early stage, your first set of investments, really focusing on why they bring value to you, and how can they get your customers, how can they validate what you're trying to do, and over just to get the money. Because if you just go for the money, you're going to end up regretting it. Either the term's not good, or they're not that useful, or the worst, they are a headache to you constantly.
Or potentially even worse, your expectations are incorrect in terms of the match of your valuation and your outcome, and they say no to an acquisition that would be very tasty for you, but not for them.
Correct. Correct.
That can be very challenging.
It is.
I really appreciate you coming on. You know, talking to you, getting your insights is helpful to founders who are thinking about raising or have raised or looking at their next round. So really diving into that, and some of the detail that I asked you for is helping other people figure it out as they move forward. So I really appreciate that.
Of course. And remember, investors are people too, you know?
That's so, okay, that is so important.
Yeah. You don't want to look at them just for their money. As my co-founder says it, you can get some Habibis with your investors. And once you got your Habibi investors, things are much easier.
Yeah, I mean, that's mic drop, right? Like, investors are humans, and I think we need to treat them as such. Both in the outreach, in expectations, but also when you bring somebody on, you have to be aligned. Absolutely. I'm Helena Fogarty, and this was Inside the Round.